Yeah, baby. You're in the building with the life gain Avengers of current culture. Is me. It's that living legend Larry. Another one of his LA teams wins. So, having said that, I will give him the floor so that he can pontificate on whatever he wants to do. Larry, the floor is yours. You got the first 3 minutes.
Man, I feel like we might have to go ahead and start changing the name of some of these teams. We might have to change the name from the Los Angeles Dodgers to the Los Angeles Florida Heartbreakers. Cause man, this is just the second time an LA team has just ran up all up in the Florida folk, just ran up in them, turned them over, spanked them like they were just a bad child. What'd you
What?
do wrong? I
Well,
told you don't get those calls from school. I don't want to hear it. All that stuff, all those good parent sayings, just tap those tails. Just send Florida people back home. Now, if we can just go ahead and have Florida come through for us once on November 3rd, we'll be good. But congratulations to my dudes. I'm happy to see them. That's their fourth appearance and or what their third one in like 4 years or something like that. So I'm glad they finally got one. A couple years ago, I was out here. A friend of mine came out. He was in DC for it just happened to be for Game 7, and we had to watch. I think it was Game 7. We had to watch the Dodgers lose. So I'm glad they pulled it out this time. I was a little disappointed on the post game celebration with dude that tested positive for COVID coming out, but
yeah, that ruins everything. I know you.
Really.
I know you ain't think I was gonna let you go have your little victory dance without raining on this parade. That ruins it all. You just tested positive this week, brother, and you out there taking
he tested
pictures.
Positive during the game. They pulled him out in the middle of the game.
I'm saying this week. In the game this week, you tested positive, and then you out there taking pictures, flipping your shirt up, throwing saliva and sweat and breathing particles everywhere. Come on, bruh. Come on. Your Major League Baseball should find a team $10 million to set a precedent. And we might even can say Major League Baseball is at fault too, because you should have just told him that once he tested positive in the game, they should have just locked his ass up, sent him home. You're done. And that was a horrible example, Larry. And you've got to admit, I don't care how many championships you win, it's just entertainment. The lives of people watching these guys, young people in particular, are so heavily influenced by athletes. Who's to say that one of them might not get COVID and think it's okay to go hang back with their team? Back to you.
No, I totally hear you on that. I think it's a problem. The fact that dude was up there in the celebration was just, I get it. It's a World Series. You want to celebrate. I totally understand. I'm not trying to take away the difficulty that how difficult it would be to have to sit there and in the medical unit of your locker room or your stadium watching on a monitor as your boys celebrated the World Series and you couldn't be there. I understand how sucky that would be, but at the same time, this is life and death stuff. This is not just something like, oh, well, if I go out there, somebody may get a little sore throat or a cough I mean, people could die. Your teammates may somebody may get sick on your team and they end up with the residual effects of it. And so they may be in one of those situations where they were an elite athlete and now they have a damn heart problem or they have scar tissue in their lungs. And so, before they were great, now they're just good, Yeah. And good is not make a professional athlete. Good is what you do when you're like the star at your bar league baseball, your bar league baseball team or, your intramural in college or something. So I didn't like that at all, but it's done. The deed is done. I would have to agree with you. I would be more than okay if the league came out and fined the holy crap out of them. I don't know about 10 million.
10 million. 10 million.
I mean, 10 million would have to be something that the team would have to cover. I don't think you can fine. If you find an individual player 10 million.
No. I'm saying the team, not the player, the team.
Okay.
The manager, the team.
If you find the team 10 million, you could probably get away with it. If you find the player too high, then the players association is going to get involved. The players union is going to get involved. It's going to get litigated, and likely it's going to get tossed out. So, but we'll see. I mean, I probably would have been okay with it if dude put on an N95 and kept it on, because then they could have at least made the argument he has an N95, nothing's passing through from him or passing in, so he's good. You know, I could have at least have tried to roll with them on that. I wouldn't have been happy about it because I feel like once you test positive, you need to go sit yourself down in the corner somewhere. But at least if he would have put an N95 on, but just to be out there just free balling, man.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he took his victory lap. It was a very bittersweet victory lap because, you know, his parade got rained on by someone exhaling COVID. But having said that, congratulations, Dodgers. And let's get on with what we're going to talk about in the show. We've got a pretty power-packed show. It's going to be heavy politics because we are less than a week away from the election. And we're going to talk a whole lot about election. Buzz, I see you down there. I'm going to come right back to you in a minute. Today, we're going to talk about Lovecraft Country. Ruby said that Lovecraft Country was therapy for her. So we're going to discuss what she meant by that.
Who said that?
Ruby, the character that plays Ruby.
Okay.
We've also got a little Omarosa spilling the tea on what's really going on with Trump and his wife. She's basically saying that the wife hates Trump and that the marriage at this point is nothing but a sham. It was a sham from the beginning, if you want my personal opinion. And since many of you guys are asking for it, damn it, I'm giving it. And we're also going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, I saw the new Borat movie. The whole Rudy Giuliani putting his hands in his pants with this young girl and the lies he tried to tell to get out of that. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we've got another Bob Woodward tape. Larry, these yes, man, these guys go singing to Bob Woodward like prostitutes to a pastor. He got Jared Kushner on tape saying that Trump doesn't want anyone to be telling him what to do, not even medical experts, and that he was going to get rid of them simply because they was telling him what to do. I've got the tape, and we're going to listen to that. But before we even dive into anything, and we got a little another try not to laugh challenge as well with my folk Tony Baker. So let me shout out the crew. We got Tim. I appreciate you, Tim, always trying to keep my channel clean. 351 Cleveland Buzz, my folk Mike Willie, who always cash apps a brother. Trisha C in the building. My family Muchella, who hang with the fellas. Alex in the building. Cash Money, Arlene Hicks. We got the whole crew in the building. Buzz, has already super chat. So let me give him something funny. I know Larry liked this one, so I can't keep showing this one. But since we're going to talk about this bum, I'll give you this one.
Yo.
No, we're not going to let you see that part.
Oh.
No, we're not going to let you see Mother Gaia.
Oh my goodness gracious!
And let me respond to Trisha C before we get into it. Trisha C,
she's about to get strapped up.
I'm not sure how it works in your state, but I think most states you can get a firearm as long as you go to the sheriff department. Just, they'll get your ID and all that, and you can have a firearm. You just can't conceal it. So if I was you, I would go get something, keep it in the car.
That depends on what state she's in, like you said.
Yeah,
because there are some states that, like your state, because both of us live in the South.
Yeah,
and so most of the southern states are really pretty liberal when it comes to firearms. But if you live up north,
no, she's in a southern state. She's in like Louisiana, somewhere like that.
Oh yeah, you're good then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're good. So all you gotta do is go to sheriff office, show them your ID, 2 forms of ID, you get your permit, you can carry, you just can't conceal it. I would do that this weekend. Only problem you're gonna have is getting bullets because people been buying up bullets left and right, which is something we all need to keep in the back of our minds. Because I read a statistic, ladies and gentlemen, 80% of all the firearms in this country are owned by 15% of the population. Let that sink in. 80% of all the guns are owned by only 15% of the population. And y'all know what 15% that is. The idiots. So make sure you strap up, be protected, and don't let nobody intimidate you. So Larry.
Yeah, Tressa, I would say too, if you're talking about getting a firearm because you're worried and you think you might need it immediately, you know, I would call some of your local you know, sporting goods stores or your gun shops and find out what kind of ammo they have in stock. I mean, it depends on what kind of gun you're talking about getting. If you're talking about getting a handgun, just ask them if they have whatever it is that they have. If they have plenty in stock, then don't worry about it. Just get whatever gun that you want to get. But if they're like, we pretty much only have ammo for 9mm, or we only have ammos for, you know, for 380s or whatever, then you get something that you're going to be able to get ammo for, and then get the gun that you really want later.
In North Carolina, Louisiana might be like this too. You don't even have to have a permit to own a shotgun. You do not have to have a license to own a shotgun. You do have to have a license to own a hand pistol, but a shotgun, nope, you ain't got to have one. But I would never.
Virginia's even more liberal than that. You don't need a permit to own anything out here. You can just go and buy whatever it is. As long as you're eligible to buy a gun, you don't need a permit at all. You can go buy as many handguns or shotguns or rifles or whatever you want.
I mean, you can do that here too, but if you get caught shooting them, then it's a different story. Like at the store that sell guns here, they don't ask you to see a permit. They just ask you for your credit card. So
Virginia's a open carry state too, so you can buy it and slap that bad boy on your hip.
You can do it here too. Matter of fact, the rule here is if you don't have a CCW, it has to be open carry. If they catch you with a gun and you've concealed it and you don't have it open carry, you get in trouble for that here. They do enforce that here, which I'm surprised they do, but they do. So in any event, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and dive on into it. First things first, we're going to talk about this young lady right here from Lovecraft Country. And I don't want to butcher her name, man, but she played our homegirl Ruby.
Hey, can we before we jump into that, can we back up for a second?
Go ahead.
Because I know we were talking about some stuff, and I know that Chris P said his city's on curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. and he said the National Guard's there, and I'm not sure if you were going to talk about this later because I'm assuming he's in Philadelphia, which they haven't really been covering it quite as much as they have in the past because I think we're so much in the thick of the whole presidential thing. But for those of you who don't know, Philadelphia is pretty much on fire because
another shooting of an unarmed black man.
Yeah, well, he wasn't unarmed. He did have a knife, but he wasn't coming at the officers like they tried to say he was. They tried to say originally that the guy was charging the officers, and he was a mentally ill, 20-something-year-old black dude. He was out there with his mother. His mother was screaming at the police, begging them not to kill him, and they lit him up anyways and murdered him, and it was all caught on camera. The cops tried to say that he was charging them in the camera, and then the tape came out, showed that he wasn't, and the city just went.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us, you in Philly, and you are protesting you're out there protesting, make sure you take your ass and that mob to vote for Joe Biden. Yeah. Don't just think that knocking down buildings, setting buildings on fire is going to be enough. Yes, that shows people that you're angry, you're upset, but you also have to get people in there that's going to change policy. So I seen so many people marching, so many people out in Philly. If that many people just from Philly take their ass and vote, Pennsylvania is a done deal for Joe Biden because it looked like it had to be over 20,000 people out there. Go vote, protest, and then stay up all night long and take your protesting behind to the ballot box and vote. So now back to the subject.
And Buzz, Buzz 703, who is a former police officer, he's saying, I guess he's giving some advice saying that a 20 gauge shotgun is the best weapon for home protection. And he's saying get buckshot. I've heard that before. I've heard people say that you should get a shotgun and that you should put that you should alternate the rounds, that you should, at the very least, you should put the first round as buckshot or birdshot, so that if you accidentally shoot somebody that you didn't mean to shoot, you're not going to kill them. But that next one, you want to put slugs in there. So if you shoot them and they don't stop, then you light them up. But I've heard that as well. So I guess that's something to consider if you're just thinking about home security, But if you're thinking about taking stuff with you, then, there you go. Anyway, sorry, man. I was reading the comments. Normally I just sort of let it go, but they had some interesting stuff on there today. So
I don't know how to pronounce this lady's name. Wunami Musaka. She played Ruby, and she's explaining why Lovecraft Country was therapy for her. And this is what she had to say. I was scared about the response because the idea and the feelings and the depths that were plunged to the heights that I reached were so deep. So I thought I might have to be in too much touch, but I didn't realize this exactly what we needed, she said. She said working on the show was therapy for her because of how deeply she had to go within the story and within her character. I'm so glad people have responded so well to it because, and she's highlighting Misha Green, has such bold ideas and she doesn't pull any punches. And I think I'm used to pulling my punches and trying to play nice, and she doesn't do that. Shouts out to Misha Green again. Larry, could you see her role being therapy for someone who is playing that role?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, because I'm not an actor, but a lot of these actors talk about how they have to draw on their own personal experiences so they can get into that emotional space to play their characters properly. And so if you're trying to play some of those roles that had, dealing with these racial issues, I can imagine that there's probably a therapeutic, there's probably a therapeutic, I don't know, I'm losing the word right now, but something where if you have to go into all of that to play that character, and then your character comes out on the other end, as a better, obviously we know how her character ended up ultimately, but throughout this movie or this series, her character was growing and becoming a stronger, more independent, self-aware person. So I guess, that could be therapeutic, because most of us, when we go to work, we just go to work, and if you're an actor and all of a sudden you're required to draw on all these personal experiences and personal, and real emotions, that could be therapeutic if you're drawing on all this, and then on the other end of it, you're coming out with something great,
Therapeutics is subjective to the individual. And if she says this was therapy for her, hey, I believe it. I'm with it. I've heard people who have said eating a ham sandwich and having a Twinkie with it is therapy. It's not for me, but hey, more power to them. There are people who use beer as therapy. And so if what she's saying, it might not necessarily, she's not saying that acting was therapy. She's saying this role she embodied was therapy. So maybe being something that she's not normally able to do, as she said, normally she's required to pull her punches.
Right.
And I think she's talking about how far she can go in talking about the issues of race, the issues of being a black character. And she didn't have to do that this time. And I can see how that would be refreshing for an actor to do that, to actually be who they want to be in their character. So it's not hard for me to see how this was therapy for her. Easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real
I agree.
easy. Yep. So moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, we all love that woman. She did a great job as playing Ruby, and I hope that I don't think they're going to bring her back, but I wouldn't mind them bringing her back because she played the hell out that role. She played the hell
I'm
out
not sure where she fits in if they bring her back, but I mean
that's easy. That they could easily bring her back as the loving sister to Letty and the loving auntie to the baby. Simple as that. They could conjure up something. There's plenty of ways you could write a story to bring her back if you had to. But if they're saying Atticus ain't coming back, I don't see why they would bring Ruby back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they could. Maybe what they'll do is they'll bring Christina back, and then it turns out it's Ruby.
Now you're talking. Go ahead and bring that Christina right on back. Love to have Christina back. Braith White at that. All right.
Man.
Next one, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get down to trying to make you guys laugh. I'm going to try to bring one of these on most of our live streams. So I've got Tony Baker doing voiceovers on animals. If you haven't seen it, it tends to get pretty funny. And I don't want none of y'all to cheat either, including you, Larry. Try not to laugh. Let me know at what part you laugh. We're going to take a look and we'll discuss it at the end. Here we go.
Hey, Master. Hey, Master, there's a deer up ahead, man. Hey, deer. How you doing? Oh, what's up? Hey, man, people don't usually speak to me, man. Where y'all going, man? Hey, my name's Bambi, man. Hey, so y'all just out here running for fun? Y'all not running from nothing? That's crazy. Normally when I'm running, I'm usually running for my life, man. Usually like an animal's trying to kill me or like some dude with a gun is trying to kill me, man. Hey, why y'all picking up the pace, man? Hey, let me run with y'all, man. I got some more questions, man. Hey, Natalie. Come on now, Natalie. Just let me open up to you for a second, Natalie. Look, Natalie. Come on now. I know we just friends. We've been friends for a long time, and you scared to lose that. But listen, Natalie, I got real feelings here, Natalie. Like, you know all my secrets. I know all yours. You be changing my letterbox. Every guy that has done you wrong, I've been there. I've been purring on your chest. Come on, Natalie. Let's just, at the core of every good relationship is friendship, and we got that, Natalie. Let's take it to another level. Come on now, get in on this.
What in the hell? Ew. Now, I honestly didn't laugh. I didn't laugh until the goat was chasing the man with the striped shirt, and the guy tried to kick him and run. Like, bruh, come on, man. Man up. Am I the only one from the country that had to deal with animals and snakes and stuff like that? Man, bruh. What is the goat gonna do?
Yeah, you have to stand your ground with animals like that. I would have two-pieced them.
Like, you know what works for most animals that have a snout nose? You hit them in the nose. Yep, you punch them, yep, right in the nose, and that'll make them go away. We had to learn that deep in the country where I'm from. Folks out there got cows that decide they want to buck on you. Now you got to be careful with a cow because if it falls on you, bruh, it's good night. But if you take a cow and you right in the nose, he'll stop and give you time to get away. Get away. Yeah. So, Larry, did you laugh?
I didn't laugh on that one, man. That one wasn't as funny as the last one.
No, it wasn't. And so Friday, since it's Halloween, instead of try not to laugh, I'm going to bring y'all try not to cringe, try not to cry. Where you see people in the gym doing some of the most foolish things that should not be done in a gym. So sit tight for that. My folks, C-Dub in the building with the $10 super chat. C-Dub, we appreciate you. Now let me give you something. Larry likes this one because this thing is going to look like Doritos Locos Tacos. So I'm gonna give it to him.
Not deserve to stop at Karen though. What's she gonna do that look? Got a little potato. She trying to stir it up. Balls deep on y'all. Oh, no, girl, we is lactose. We all need all that cheese. Karen, just Uber Eats me. She's gonna try, look at her. She gonna cross her legs like it's on the motherboard at church. Girl, that shit ain't innocent. You done raped the whole turkey. Melted butter, baked for 4 hours. Oh, look at it.
What did they put on there?
Man,
My God, what did they put on there?
Man, it looked like they put some Kellogg's cornflakes on top of the turkey, man. Turkey.
Man, they definitely put some. It looked like what you said. It looked like they put some Doritos on there.
Oh,
They did
God.
that. Maybe they put some hot Takis or something on there, man, with all that red.
Bruh, I hate it for that po' chicken, man. I really feel bad for that chicken, but
Man,
moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to pick on some more dumbass Republicans. I seen the movie Borat. Larry, are you familiar with Borat?
I am, and I've seen, and I watched Borat subsequent movie film.
Mm-hmm. The character that plays Borat is Sacha Baron Cohen. He's somewhat funny. He ain't Larry David funny, but he has his own little appeal. He dropped the movie on Amazon last Thursday. It made national headlines because there was a scene, and I don't know how he's able to get these guys to do what he does. So basically what he does is he pretends like he's someone from another country on a mission in America.
Right.
And he's recording all these various people that allow him to do things, pretending as if he's a Republican operative when he's really not. And people take him into their homes, talking to all this Republican redneck bull job. It got so far, he's faking this chick as his daughter, saying he has to get her first to Mike Pence. Then as he's working his way to Mike Pence, he's got to get his daughter through Giuliani. And so what happens with the Giuliani recording was they left Giuliani in the bedroom with the daughter who's supposed to be interviewing him. She goes to the bathroom. Giuliani takes his old ugly ass and lays on the bed and started rubbing his hand in her pants as she's coming back to talk to him. And I'm going to show you guys a clip of this whole story because you might, if you've got Amazon Prime, you should definitely watch Borat. Take a look at this.
Sacha Baron Cohen is back with his signature style of political satire.
I brought the girl for you.
Over the years, politicians on both sides of the aisle have fallen prey to Baron Cohen's pranks, from Bernie Sanders to Dick Cheney. Now in the sequel to his 2006 movie, the fictitious journalist Borat returns to America in a year that has been stranger than fiction.
What is more dangerous, this virus or the Democrat?
Democrats.
Ahead of the film's release tomorrow on Amazon Prime Video, a scene featuring Rudy Giuliani is already making headlines. NBC News has obtained and seen an advance copy of the movie. The scene in question shows Giuliani after an interview in a hotel room with a 24-year-old actress playing Borat's teenage daughter, who is pretending to be a TV reporter.
My daddy is the smartest person in the whole flat world.
Giuliani appears to take off his microphone and then lays down on the bed and puts his hands in his pants for a few seconds. The whole thing recorded by what seemed to be hidden cameras. In character and wearing women's lingerie, the comedian bursts into the bedroom yelling, "She's 15, she's too old for you." A confused Giuliani asks what's happening and abruptly leaves. Beyond what's seen in the movie, NBC News does not know what happened before or after the filmed incident. Some are questioning the editing of the clip. Giuliani has not responded to a request for comment, but in a tweet, the former mayor calls the video a complete fabrication, adding, "At no time before, during, or after the interview was I ever inappropriate. If Sacha Baron Cohen implies otherwise, he's a stone-cold liar." Giuliani spoke to WABC Radio on Wednesday.
I'm tucking my shirt in. I assure you that's all I was doing. This is a hit job.
And shortly after the scene was filmed back in July, Giuliani said he reported the bizarre incident to police, and he also told the New York Post, quote, "I only later realized it must have been Sacha Baron Cohen. I thought about all the people he previously fooled, and I felt good about myself because he didn't get me." And at the time, he also added that he was a fan of the Borat movie. Hoda?
Boy, this is such a weird one, Kathy. Was there anyone else caught in Borat's stunts in the sequel?
Yeah, Hoda, Giuliani isn't the only one. Actually, in the trailer, you see Borat crashing back in February, the CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference, and on the stage at the time was Vice President Mike Pence, and he appeared to be pretty stunned at the time as well.
Okay. All right. Kathy Park. Thank you, Kathy.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've got to see that. Now, let's talk about Giuliani's excuse here, ladies and gentlemen. I actually have a picture of him. Somebody already done said in the comments, who the hell lays on the bed to tuck the front of their pants in? Now, this is what he's talking about. Look right there next to Ruby, and in the middle and on the other side of Omarosa. That's Rudy Giuliani. That's the young lady. And why is his hands in his pants and he's laying on the bed like that in front of this young woman? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give this to the living legend Larry first, because I know y'all love when he riffs. So Larry, you can handle the jacking off Giuliani.
I mean, the dude just got caught. He can say what he wants to say, but he just got caught out there. That's just what it is. I mean, he went in that room, and even if he was trying to take his, because first he said, "Oh, I was just trying to take the mic off," and then he was saying, "Then I was tucking in my shirt," and but before you tuck in your shirt and while you're taking the mic off does not require that you put your hand on the small of this young girl's back or on her butt. That none of that is required to take the mic off or to tuck your shirt in. And he did that. And it was so creepy the way this happened. It made me wonder, like, how many other situations has this dude been in that he's done something like this? Because when he went to that room, he went there so fast. And, like, I don't know if it was just the editing or if he just went there that fast. The dude just, like, went there. And I was like, damn, how often does this dude go there and just get it in like that? It was crazy. I was like, seriously? This is the way you roll? It was nuts.
Larry, let me tell you something, man. People in power and people who get positions of fame, they oftentimes do this type of crazy behavior. Jeffrey Toobin, ladies and gentlemen, contributes to CNN all the time. He got caught jacking off on Zoom thinking that they was on break. Bruh.
Why?
Come on, man.
Why? I just don't understand why.
What was, first of all, what was you jacking off to? Does Zoom make you hot? What in the hell, man? You got to do better than this. And Giuliani, I'm with Larry. That's behavior that you have done before. You are the same mayor who put his wife out on the streets of the mayor's mansion in New York and had half your age side piece slide on up through the back door. You the same guy that done that. So no, you don't get a benefit of a doubt from me on this. You thought this chick wanted you for, I guess, your fame. It ain't your looks. I mean, there was a song, "Must Be Your Ass Because It Ain't Your Face." With a man like you, must be your wallet because it ain't nothing else. Tip drill.
If you find the clip, if you happen to find the clip before we finish up, and you show it, you'll see in there the way that he was, the way that he moved in that room, the way that he was touching her. It wasn't something where it was just some innocent thing like, I'm just taking my microphone off. I'm just going ahead and putting my shirt back in. Nah, dude, you had hands on her. You were trying to get in it.
Mm-hmm. And Larry, he's fully reclined backwards.
Yeah.
I mean, fully reclined. I mean, he's so far back, I'm surprised his pants ain't high water. He is fully reclined backward. Nobody tucks their shirt in like that, Rudy. Nobody. Stop it, man. Stop it. I am so.
He just got caught out there. That's all it is.
That's all it is, man. And your ass probably going to be going to jail for something even worse if you don't rat on Trump. So hold that. But having said that, ladies and gentlemen, the movie is pretty funny. And if anything, you should want to go and see that backstory that led to this mess with Giuliani. I don't want to spoil the rest of the movie for you, but there are some funny parts to it. Give it a shot if you like that kind of crass comedy, especially dealing with politics. If you like politics, this will make you laugh.
You know, I'll tell you that one of the things that this movie does, it really shows you how depraved that some of these people are on the right. When they feel comfortable around you, when they feel like they're amongst their own and they're safe to express how they really feel, you hear it and you see it, and it's really disgusting. I mean, there was a scene in there where he played, I forgot his character's name, like Country Something Bob, and he went up on stage and was singing a song, and it was
about Barack Obama.
Song that was based.
It was like F Barack Obama, something to that effect.
Yeah, but it was the most horrendous stuff in there, and these people they were just singing along, and he had the whole crowd going with them. It was horrendous. I mean, if someone had done that on the left, the Democrats would have been like, "Nah, you can't get out with us," you know.
Mm-hmm.
But and there was another scene in there which I thought was just really telling, which was so. I mean, it was. I felt bad for the girl. There was a scene where they went to I guess, what is it, a cotillion or a debutante ball or something, and they were introducing the girls. But there was in there
you
where
talking about when she started having her fake period?
No, not that. Before that, when they first got there and they were all sort of lined up and they were over there, and Borat was talking to one of the other fathers, and he was like, "Oh, so my daughter is is whatever." He was like, "So how much would you give me for my daughter? How much would you pay to be with my daughter?" And the guy was looking at him like, I don't know. He was like, and he kept pressing, "How much would you pay to be with my daughter?" And the dude says, "I don't know, $500. And his daughter in that moment looks at him and she tells her dad, "You're gross." It was like in that moment, she saw her dad as an entirely different person. Whatever she thought of as her father, that bubble, those rose-colored glasses that girls put on and look at their dad as their daddy, and all of that shit in an instant was gone. Because that dude basically came out and said, "I would pay $500 to be with her." And he said it right there next to his own daughter. And his daughter was like, his daughter looked at him and said, "You're gross." And in the way she said it, she meant it. Yeah. She meant it. She looked at her father like he was a vile, vulgar human being and wanted nothing to do with him.
Now, I'm going to show you guys the daughter, and I'm going to show you a come to Jesus meeting that she had with this person right here. So Borat tried to pawn her off on this lady. That's his daughter. And this lady was doing what all traditional black women have done from slavery till now: try to cheer up the white girl, make her have confidence, raise the white girl, saying things are going to be better. You're better than this. She was trying to raise this girl up to have confidence, right? Her name is Janice Jones, the black lady.
Right.
She only got paid $3,000 for her role. She has a pretty good role. She's in 1/3 of this movie. And so what did her fans do? They did a GoFundMe for her and raised her $70,000 to go along with the $3,000 she got for playing her role. And she played a very positive role in this movie, kind of like I said, the big mama role that we've seen traditionally with African-American women over the course of this country's history. Larry, what do you think about that lady and her role in this movie?
Yeah, I felt bad for her because, I was reading something about her today, and she was saying that she didn't know that this was a comedy and a joke. She said that she really thought she was looking after a young woman who was being groomed to marry an older man. And she said she spent weeks afterwards worrying about this girl and what had happened to her. And, and so it was it was sad in a way that they just left her out there and she didn't know. I mean, I understood why the producers did it, because you can't just go out there and tell people, oh, this is a joke, because then it would get out before the movie came out and ruin everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I felt bad for her. They kind of did her wrong, and she was so loving and was really just supportive of this young girl, telling her, you know, you don't need plastic surgery.
Nope.
You're beautiful just the way you are. You don't need to do this, and you should marry for love. You don't need to be with some older man you don't even know and all. She was really being a good supportive figure, and you know, I mean, that's one of those things. I don't know what Sacha Baron Cohen said about her, but I can imagine that if he ever feels bad about any of the pranks, or feels bad for the people that are, you know, taken by his pranks, I imagine she's probably on the top of his list as feeling probably feels bad about it, because she's not. This is not some woman who was a public figure. This is not a Rudy Giuliani or a Mike Pence or you know, some political person or actor or anything else, that somebody like one of these big name people he's pranked in the past. This is somebody who's just an average everyday person. She was running was a babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so I don't know. I kind of felt bad for her. So I'm glad her fans raised her some money. I saw that they started a GoFundMe page, and I think they had a goal of like $100,000. So I guess it looks like maybe they already raised 70. So
yeah, they looked out for her, man. They looked out for her, took care of the sister, and definitely go check out that movie if you haven't watched it yet. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to careen to the final segment, which is all things politics. And we've got a little bit of stuff in here for you guys dealing with Omarosa and things that she knows and has said about Melania. But the most important thing we've got to cover first, ladies and gentlemen, Bob Woodward is an award-winning journalist. Presidents over the years I don't know how this man is able to get these guys to relax so much and open up to him, but they do.
I don't know why anybody still talks to him. If Bob Woodward called me and said, "Yo, President Dortch, can we talk to you?" I'd be like, "Hell no! I've read your stuff. I've seen what you do to people. I don't want any parts of you."
Well, you know what? The things I'm involved with, if it's a President Tyson, hey, come talk to me, Bob Woodward. Whatever you want. Have some coffee. You know, let's go lift some weights, because when I get famous, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be the golf course for me. It's going to be the weight room. You want to sit and have fun with me, you coming in that weight room. So he caught Jared Kushner on tape, basically saying the reason why we're stuck with COVID, and this should be more reason for you guys to get out there and vote Trump butt out of office, is because he didn't want the medical officials dictating him. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. It's unbelievable.
From the president's son-in-law in his own voice about the early days of the coronavirus pandemic and the election year tensions between the president and the doctors warning him about the COVID threat. Jared Kushner talked to Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Bob Woodward back in April with the president's blessing. Remember, little context here, the early White House task force guidelines to slow the spread, those were issued in mid-March. 1 month later, the White House issued reopening guidelines as the president grew anxious that coronavirus restrictions were hurting the economy and his re-election chances. Listen here to Kushner describe this critical moment.
The last thing was kind of doing the guidelines, which was interesting. And that, in my mind, was almost like, it was almost like Trump getting the country back from the doctors, right? In the sense that what he now did was, he's going to own the open up. There were 3 phases. There was the panic phase, the pain phase, and then the comeback phase. That doesn't mean there's not still a lot of pain, and there won't be pain for a while. But that basically was, we've now put out rules to get back to work. Trump's now back in charge. It's not the doctors. They've kind of, we have like a negotiated settlement.
We have this audio because of our great special correspondent, Jamie Gangel, who is here with more. Jamie, just the tone there, the president getting the country back from the doctors.
So they wanted to sideline the doctors. Simple and clear. They saw the doctors as adversaries. When you say negotiated settlement, it sounds more like the end of a war. And John, it just underscores the Trump-Kushner political strategy. They had one concern, Election Day. Once again, as Woodward showed throughout the book, a failure of leadership, a betrayal of trust. And as we see the numbers surging again, it's going on today.
And in this audio, Jamie, give us some context here. We know Jared Kushner is incredibly close to the president, if not his most trusted advisor in the White House, and they've had a lot of turmoil on the staff there, and he has some very harsh words for many of his former colleagues.
Look, for the past 4 years, this is not a surprise. We have seen Trump call people names. We have seen him blame the top people around him. Kushner, in this audio, echoes those sentiments, but listen carefully to how he describes the people who are now at the White House.
The most dangerous people around the president are overconfident idiots, right? Because that has a way sometimes of getting past his defense mechanism, because if you're overconfident, then sometimes, on a topic where he doesn't have other people around to kind of validate it, then he can sometimes say, okay, let's go with that. So that's kind of, I think if you look at the evolution over time, we've gotten rid of a lot of the overconfident idiots, and now we've got a lot more thoughtful people who kind of know their place and know what to do.
John, I just want to emphasize those words, know their place. It's clear that whether it's administration officials or doctors, health experts, no surprise, Trump wants to be the one who's in charge.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is embarrassing. This is just pure embarrassing that the leader of the free world, our current president, if he can't control you, you have to be an idiot with confidence in order for him to listen to you. Let that sink in. You have to be an idiot with confidence. This is not my words. That's Jared Kushner. So don't be trying to throw your darts at me. You dumbasses who still like Trump. You've been taken for a ride. His son-in-law is telling you you've been taken for a ride. And I know it's hard for y'all to accept the ride, but accept that ride and go vote for Joe Biden. Larry, I give the floor to you because this is just complete asinine. I mean, I don't even know what to say other than get mad and really hurl some bad words. Asinine is the most you're going to get out of me. Floor is yours. What's up, Nita the Diva? Subscribe to her channel.
Yeah, I feel like at some point you just have to acknowledge that you made a mistake and just rectify it before it's too late. But I feel like the Trump people are so entrenched that they just can't pull themselves out. They feel like if they pull themselves out of the Trump thing and vote for someone else, it's acknowledging failure or something. And I get people on my post in my videos and on my Instagram that just they're wholly ignorant. Like they post stuff talking about Joe Biden runs a corrupt criminal family and stuff. But I'm like, I just don't understand where they get this stuff from. I'm like, if you have a son that goes and takes a job overseas and he's on the board of some company or whatever else, okay. A lot of people work with overseas. I deal with people in China every single day. They send me products. Am I some sort of corrupt person because I'm working with foreign companies? I mean, it's absolute lunacy. I mean, the people on the right just don't. They just don't care about stuff or they're wholly ignorant. I mean, I had a guy today people like to say this stupid thing about Republicans and Democrats. So they like to say, oh, Trump has done more for black people than anybody else. Talking about Republicans do more for black people. And then they go to this whole thing, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican and he was the one that freed the slaves. And then they go and talk about some other stuff that Republicans did. And I asked this dude today, I said, are you stupid or are you sitting up there trying to manipulate people, intentionally trying to manipulate people that are stupid? I was like, it has to be one or the other, because because you have to, either you're just simply taking those talking points that the Republican right-wing talk radio people have given you, and you didn't even bother to try and think it through, or you understand that there was a complete party platform flip-flop where the Republicans became the Democrats and the Democrats became the Republicans at a certain point. And so if you understand that, then it doesn't matter that the Republicans did something back in the day, because they don't have the same policies and the same platform that they did before. So back in the day, the Republicans were the more progressive party. They were the more liberal party, and then things flip-flopped. That's why back in the 60s, the 50s, and 60s, they had what they called the Dixiecrats, because the Democrats or the Dixiecrats were today's Republicans. They were a bunch of racist, right-wing people. And so when they had the platform flip-flops, the Republicans became the conservatives and the Democrats became the liberals. And if you don't understand American politics and American history, then I guess you just go out there and look stupid making those asinine statements saying, oh, the Republicans did this, the Republicans did that. No, you can't talk about Republicans this, Republicans that, or Democrats this, Democrats that. You have to talk about policies and platforms. And so,
I mean, Larry, do you think that these people that go to these rallies is doing any more studying of politics and history than what they get on Fox News? Hell no. These people are not versed in history. The only thing they know is what Fox News tells them. And me and you know that Fox News is not held to any journalistic boundaries, because half of their programs are not by journalists. Half of their programs are by people who are nothing but entertainers like me and you.
Yeah, they're talk show hosts. You have people like Tucker Carlson and what's his name? I forgot the other dude that's up there that has his show. These
Sean
people are talk show hosts.
Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham. None of these people are journalists.
No.
Judge Pereiro, whatever the hell her name is. None of these people are.
They're talk show hosts.
Yes, the real journalists.
I mean, to
they
be
have
fair,
one.
it's the same. It's the same on other news program, on other stations too. It's the same on MSNBC. It's the same on CNN. They have real journalists that work for those networks, but they also have a lot of talk shows. I mean, if you're Abby Phillips, you're a real journalist, you know. Mm-hmm. But if you're what's her name, Dana Bash, you're a real journalist. But if you're Chris Cuomo, you're a talk show host. You know, if you're Anderson Cooper, you're a talk show host. No, Anderson Cooper used to be a real journalist.
Right. I was going to say he has his journalist credentials.
Right.
Cuomo doesn't. But
he left. He used to be in the field. He used to do a lot of stuff, and then he gave all that up so that he can sit on the desk and be a talk show host. I mean, okay, I'm not mad at him. He probably makes a crap ton more money. He probably gets to go home to his family every day. And when you're traveling around the world, following wars and famines and earthquakes and tsunamis and everything else, you're not coming home to your family every night. So I get why you do it, but you're still a talk show host. It's the same thing with people like Rachel Maddow. Rachel Maddow's a talk show host.
No, Rachel Maddow's a journalist.
She was a journalist, and now she's a talk show host.
I mean, I haven't read nothing where she's gotten rid of her credentials. She's still a journalist.
Well, the show that she does on MSNBC is not it's not a news program. It is a current events program where she's a talk show host. I don't have a problem with it. I like Rachel Maddow. I'm not dissing her at all. I'm just simply saying there are people who are working as journalists, and then there are people that are working as talk show hosts. I mean, John King is still a journalist. Federica Whitfield's still a journalist. Sanjay Gupta, medical journalist. Fareed Zakaria, journalist.
Here's the last point before we get out of here. You guys remember this young lady, Omarosa Manigault. Well, you remember she was in the Trump White House for about 6 months. She had a chance to get real close to Melania. This is what she said in the interview just yesterday. It's a strange marriage. I'm very cautious to comment on the dynamics of people's marriage. You never know the inner workings. But I've known this couple since they were dating. And in fact, they got married a year after The Apprentice aired. What I observed over the last 17 years, sometimes they like each other and other times she's repulsed by him. As we just saw on the debate last Thursday, he went to go and touch her hand and she smacked it away. Ladies and gentlemen, I saw that. Larry saw that. We all saw that. And Omarosa gave this interview just the other day, Tuesday, October 27th. Larry, are you surprised by this? Because you know I'm not. I've been said this.
No, I'm not surprised. I don't know what I don't know what she negotiated to get to go along with this whole thing. Because I mean, the idea that you get up there and your husband reaches for your hand and you smack it away. Could you imagine how big of a deal that would have been if Hillary Clinton had done that to Bill, or if Michelle had done that to Barack? Could you imagine how huge of a deal that would have been?
Fox News would have ran with that to the hilt.
Yeah, but so I mean, I don't know what kind of deal she negotiated, but I'm assuming Melania must have negotiated a hell of a deal where she said, "Look, you want me to stick around for this campaign? I'm gonna need some stuff, you know. I'm gonna need some guarantees. I'm gonna need some stuff in writing."
Larry,
you know?
She doesn't need nothing in writing. The writing is that child of theirs, Barron, who's 13. That's all the writing she needs. As long as he's his spawn, she's taken care of until he's 18 years old.
Yeah, but I think she wants more than that. She might want to make sure that Barron's taken care of, but I think she needed more than that. I think she probably was like, nah, you're gonna have to give me some guarantees. Otherwise, I'm not sticking around for this campaign. I'm gonna take B and just be out. You know?
I don't think it's that deep. Melania is not that deep. It's simple as this. He helped that chick get the green card. He took her from a life of stripping and nude photo taking, whatever country she came from. And, you know, Trump was a famous playboy because he stuck his name on everybody's property. Then he get on The Apprentice. She's seen a better life. Live underneath him. You stay with somebody married for 10 years and give him a kid, you set. It's simple as that.
Honestly, man, I think she might be a sparrow. I wouldn't be surprised if all this was a real long game and Putin had put her in there. I wouldn't be surprised if she's a sparrow. I mean, that's what they did. That was their whole program, was to play the serious long game, to get in there with people, build these really long-term relationships, and establish all kinds of stuff. And I'm not sure if they plotted to get Trump in the White House or if they just saw the opportunity and said, yeah, it looks like it's a possibility. Let's do it. Let's run with it. And they had their operative already on the inside, and so they ran with it. So,
well, we'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out she's a sparrow. I wouldn't be surprised if she moved back to her country after they get out. Because I'm assuming that when Trump leaves office, you know, whether willingly or dragged out, I'm assuming that he's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if they're divorced within a year of him leaving office. And, you know, and he'll probably try and tell her, oh, stick around. I'm going to run for office again the next cycle. But Trump is like 74 years old or something. I mean, by the time they get another 4 years, he's going to be way too old. He's already suffering from dementia, you know. I mean, by the time the next 4 years, he might be like Ronald Reagan when he was out. He may not have any control of his mental faculties. So, I mean, the dude can barely walk up a flight of steps. He can barely drink water. I mean, how many people you know drink water with two hands? You know,
only drunks. That's the only ones I see do that.
Drunk people and people that have physical limitations, and I don't think he'll be Well, there's a couple things. One, I don't think he'll have the physical and mental acuity to run the next cycle. And I think the Republican Party is going to have to go into straight, damage control after they get rid of him so that they can try and salvage whatever's left of their party. And the last thing they're going to want to do is bring Trump back in. But the problem is Trump loves all this adoration. So Trump is going to start holding rallies again. He's never going to stop with these rallies. He's going to keep on doing these rallies for the next 4 years if he thinks he can run again. So he's just going to keep holding them and keep holding them and keep holding them. And
it's not going to come to that. He's either going to be arrested or he's going to seek asylum somewhere and start trying to give up America's secrets. And if he starts doing that, you know what comes next.
Oh, he's not going to give up. He gets to go. If he starts giving up American secrets, the CIA will just kill him.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I'm saying. So,
yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, that's where we'll stick a pin in it. Be sure to join us again on Friday night. Be sure to subscribe to the homegirl, Nita the Diva, who's been in there keeping that comment section hot. Subscribe to Larry's channel. Subscribe to mine. If you got a movie or a TV show or a hot topic you want to discover, hit us on the gram. We might get you up here on this show. We still waiting on Mike Willie. We still waiting on Tim. And Buzz, you have a pass to get up here whenever you're ready to do it as well. And that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, get yourself that life game. And until Friday when we meet again, we'll see you.
Mask up and vote.
Vote.
Peace.